Vampira by Rich von Holt. I was with my wife and her mom in our house. Her mom gave me a card for 2 purchases. On the card were 2 purchases of 2 different collections of mystery boxes. One was a box dedicated to Michael Jordan. I looked at her in awe. She had thought I didn't like it, but the truth was that I loved it because I loved collector editions. She wanted to take us to dinner, so we went to a diner that was on the 2nd floor of a small building. We walk up a tight stairway and enter the diner. The tables seem to be touching. The diner is almost full. It's loud with people talking. As the waitress walks us over to our table, I let them know I am going to use the bathroom to wash my hands. I enter the bathroom, and right behind me is a young 20-something-year-old Caucasian male who gives me this creepy look with a grim smile. I wash my hands and then dry them. He stands in front of the door. As I approach him, he moves side to side. He doesn't let me leave. So I grab him by the waist, pick him up, and slam him to the ground. The back of his head snaps on the floor. The next thing I knew, Alma and I was vacationing in her grandparents' mansion in Mexico. The house was on the corner of 2 streets. It had 5 floors and 17 bedrooms. We were the only ones in the house. We were the only ones in the neighborhood. The house wasn't in new condition, but it was nice. The house did have an attic that was haunted. A woman who was possessed lived up there. I didn't know at first when I went up there. I found the door in the ceiling in one of the rooms far to the right. I opened the door and popped my head up. I climbed in, and it was a room full of cushions. It was completely dark. The ceiling of that room couldn't have been more than 3 feet. I wiggled my way through it. Towards the other side, there was another door. I moved towards it. I opened it and went through it. To my surprise, it seemed to be a small apartment. It was bright and full of furniture. I walked around. Something didn't seem right. It was empty, but there was an eerie feeling. It felt like I traveled to another dimension. A terrifying scream echoed in the apartment. I had to get out. I looked for the exit and ran. I entered the tiny dark room full of cushions and crawled as fast as I could to the other door. As I went through it, the demonic woman screamed again, and her face was right up against mine. Her pale face, black straight hair, and fanged teeth stood in my mind for days to come. Years later, Alma and I traveled back to Mexico with my extended family. We were walking in the neighborhood, and this time it was full of people. The economy was booming. The mansion no longer belonged to her grandparents. As we turned the corner, we were at the house. It was painted a different color and looked fully upgraded. Alma and I decided to go inside the house so we could show my relatives how beautiful it was. We all walk up to the porch and knock. No one answers. We turn the knob on the door and the door opens. We all walk inside. We look around and tell them stories of the house. Suddenly, a middle-aged man, little man with glasses and wavy hair and gym attire, walks in with his young son. This man is pissed. He starts screaming at us. We try to calm him down. He gets right in my face. And when he does, 2 teenagers come out from another room. One of them is black and the other is white. They both look like Abercrombie models. They're wearing cut-off shirts with seashell necklaces. Down the hall, 2 teenage girls walk towards us. These 2 are dressed in goth. As they get close, they show us their fanged teeth. They go straight towards the middle-aged man and bite him. All of us start running. The next thing I know, I black out. I wake up in the house at night. Everything looks different. I found out 20 years had passed. I go outside and a ton of vampires are flying around. It appears I am not a vampire. I see my brother-in-law. He's flying with the other vampires. It turns out everyone is a vampire. This next part of my life is figuring out how to blend in with the other vampires.